Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the tonight's April 11th, 2023 meeting of the Danvers Planning Board at 7 p.m. My name's Lou George. I'm the clerk, and I'll be serving as acting chair tonight's meeting. Jim Sears will not be participating today. And so, just to introduce myself again, my name is Lou George, and I have fellow members Tim Spittle, Tori Adler, Jean Hartnett, and Josh Morris is here on behalf of staff. So this is a hybrid meeting tonight. So we do have some. It looks like we do have some participation by MS Teams, and we're also here in person here at the Danvers Senior Center. So let's move ahead to the agenda. So the first agenda item is 90 High Street. It's a request by Kurt R. Alboth, trustee of Claresound Realty Trust, for endorsement of an approval not required A&R plan for 90 High Street, Assessors Map 52, Lot 107, to split one lot into two lots. The property is located in the High Street Mixed Use Corridor, HSMUC zoning district. And I neglected to say as well that that Tori Adler will be serving as acting clerk tonight. So, the applicant's ready. Attorney McCann.
Thank you very much. My name is Nancy McCann. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. With me tonight is Mr. Alboth, trustee and owner of the property at 90 High Street. And this is a pretty straightforward A&R plan that we're requesting endorsement. The property at 90 High Street currently has two buildings on it. One is known to you probably as Merchant's Liquor Store. The other is Friends Box Company, which I learned tonight has been there since 1932. And we are proposing to simply divide the lot into two lots. The result will be one building on each of the lots. And for A&R endorsement purposes, we need to show you on the plan that the two lots being created each have the required frontage in the High Street Mixed Use Corridor zoning district. The required frontage is 50 feet. Lot A on the plan has 88.5 feet. Lot B on the plan has 92 feet. So each of the resulting lots have the required frontage. We also have a zoning table on the plan just for your own informational purposes. The building setbacks are met, the required setbacks. There is no lot size required in this zoning district. So the issue before the board is whether the two lots each have the required frontage, and they do, as shown on the plan, so we're requesting endorsement.
Okay, very good. I guess I'll turn it over to the board with any questions, starting with Tim.
No questions.
Jean?
No questions.
Tori?
I have no questions.
Just a question with respect to, I know you mentioned in terms of frontage. What about any issues with respect to access?
No, once the lots eventually are in fact conveyed out, there will be reciprocal easements granted for access purposes. Right now, as between the two leaseholders, the two lessees on the properties, there are agreements for access and parking and the like, and that will be memorialized, but can't be until they're actually conveyed out.
Understood. So in terms of for A&R purposes, there's no issue with respect to concern about access or anything of that nature.
No, not for A&R purposes. No.
Okay. Very good. Okay. This is just this is not a public hearing, but does anybody in the audience have any questions with respect to this application? Okay. Hearing none, I'd like to entertain a motion.
I'll move that we endorse the approval not required for 90 High Street.
Okay. Is there a second?
A second.
Okay. Second by first by Tori, second by Jean. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? None?
Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you. Good luck. Okay. So moving on to the next item of the agenda is a public hearing with respect to 51 Needham Road, AKA 7 Hutchison Drive, a request for a special permit and site plan review submitted by the Doggy Depot, Inc., pursuant to Section 30, Table 1, and Section 4 of the Danvers zoning bylaw. Said property is in the Commercial 3, C3 zoning district. The applicant proposes to operate a pet daycare at the existing building with associated site modifications. Assessors Map 64, Lot 9A. And so this was this had been originally on the agenda for 2 weeks ago, so I just want to thank the applicant for the flexibility in terms of appearing tonight. So, and if you'd like to approach the podium, please identify yourself and you can give your presentation.
Great. My name's Remco Bruker.
Oh, why don't you go to, if you can speak of the microphone just so people can hear you at home.
Hi there. My name is Remco Bruker of Bruker Design in Manchester, and my partner Ken Woods, engineer, is also online if we have any questions for him. This is the owner, Joel Taylor, and he'll give a small brief as to what we're proposing.
Perfect, thank you.
Hi there, my name is Joel Taylor. I'm the owner of the Doggy Depot. We're currently in Beverly Farms. We also have a private dog park in Manchester by the Sea.
You may want to raise the microphone a little bit just so people can hear. Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
We're looking to bring our services to Danvers. We'd like to bring a full package of services, which is dog grooming, dog boarding, doggy daycare. We're looking to expand on that a little bit by having a cafe there as well, and an urgent care vet clinic is in the plans as well. So we have a 11-year history in Beverly Farms. We're well-versed in what we're doing, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have pertaining to the operation.
Okay.
I can explain a little bit more as to the plan that you
Please
may
do.
have seen. Should I walk up there? I have a laser pointer as well, if that's better.
Whatever is easier.
Miss
Okay.
Remco, just one thing, sorry to interrupt, if you do need to go closer to the screen, if you could grab the microphone
Okay.
just for informational purposes.
Okay. I'll probably stay here. This is the existing building. You probably all know it. The former Hollywood Hits Theater has 7 theaters in it, and the entry area right here with a large parking lot surrounding it. Access is along this area here across BJ's, and there's another route behind BJ's as well. The proposal is, you can go to the next slide. Proposal is to take a portion of that parking lot and do an outdoor play field for the dogs. As you can see, here's Hutchinson Drive. The main entrance to the building is here, with a secondary entrance to the veterinary clinic in this area. And we have other access for staff and dogs along the rear of the building, and also on the side. That will be accessed with the company vans that bring in the dogs, and they'll either be brought inside here, say during inclement weather, or around the back to the play field. Customers will be driving in here and parking in front and in this area right here to drop off and pick up their dogs. You can, next page, please. Then inside, we have a number of areas here that are listed. It's difficult for me to see them exactly, but but here's the veterinary daycare. There's the indoor play area. We have a grooming area here, a wash area. The main reception is in this area. Small waiting area with a small cafe, administrative, and then we have some area for parking for the fleet vehicles that we have, and some storage area. Again, the focus otherwise is this outdoor play area, which we think will actually add nicely to the parking lot. That's a general brief. We have several things that questions we've answered to both the Board of Health and yourselves, but welcome to answer any more questions.
Okay. Very good. And you said you had someone else who's participating remotely as well?
Yes, Mr. Ken Woods is also.
And he is,
He's a professional engineer on the project.
okay, got it, okay. Do you have any more presentation, or that's your?
No, that's it. We can answer questions. I'm assuming there are a few.
You will.
Right.
Sounds good. All right, I'll turn the questions over to the board. Begin with Jean.
You said you had some fleet vehicles. Is it for pickup and drop off, or what are the
Yes, we
vehicles
have
for?
vans for picking up
Could
and dropping.
you speak just in the
Sorry.
microphone? Sure.
We have company vans for picking up and dropping off dogs. Currently in Beverly Farms, we have 10 vans, but we're plan on doing that on a much smaller scale over in Danvers because we're a more centrally located business in Danvers where it's easier for people to come drop off and pick up daily, whereas in Beverly Farms, we're a little remote. And so we do a lot of pickup and drop off in that area.
Okay. I don't think I have any other questions. I read all the department comments, and it seemed like pretty standard operation.
Right.
Tori?
Sure. Just a couple questions. Does the care of the dogs stay contained to the facility, or are there walks or anything else?
It's all contained in the facility. There will be no dog walking, no. The dogs, most of the daycare dogs will be coming and playing in a play field. In bad weather, they'll be coming inside more, but we'll have both inside and outside areas for them to play. We'll have a separate, it's kind of unique where it's already broken up into theaters, so rather than doing any major construction, we're staying within the framework of what we're dealt with. And so we have one section will be daycare, one section will be boarding, the boarding facility. And generally speaking, the dogs, even the boarding dogs, they'll be coming out to the play field and playing during the day. And it's just a matter of getting the dogs to get their exercise and play and having the option of outside or inside is really a bonus for us. In our current location, we're primarily an outdoor daycare, and our park is entirely outdoors. So we have some tough times when winters are hitting us heavy and the numbers go way down. So we're really looking forward to having a big indoor area as well.
All right. So the new dog play field, is that going to be natural grass or artificial grass?
It's turf, it's artificial grass, yeah. We would be cutting out the pavement, digging down, putting in a base of 3/4 stone, topping it with crushed stone, grading, and then basically it's carpet goes on top. It's basically
Okay.
plastic carpet, and the urine percolates through. We have a system that attaches to a hose that disinfects the whole yard. We spray the yard nightly, no problems with smell. We currently operate right in a residential neighborhood. It's very unusual that we're nestled right in the middle of a residential neighborhood. So we're very in tune with keeping the peace. We don't allow too much barking. And we can't have any odors, So in fact, we have a restaurant 15 feet away from our lot, so we're really on top of that. So it'll be a moot point at the new location. We know how to handle it.
So the special permit you're applying for pertains to the dog daycare, but the zoning here would allow boarding overnight by right.
Which is strange. They're very
That's-
similar to one another, but,
I will pose the question to no one in particular. What exactly is the difference?
right.
Can you elaborate on how you see daycare as any different in function than boarding, other than the greater frequency of bringing dogs in and out?
Yeah, maybe that would probably be the main difference, whereas a customer dropping off for boarding might not be back for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whereas the customer dropping off for daycare is coming in the morning and then coming back in the afternoon, if they're not using our pickup and drop-off service. So that would be the main standout. Otherwise, the dogs are cared for in the same way, and yeah, not much of a difference. That's
Seems to me like an exciting business prospect and a very appropriate location.
Thank you.
Tim?
I did have just one question on the boarding. Does that mean they stay in that facility overnight, or do the dogs leave with any of the?
No, they stay there overnight. Yeah.
Will any people be in the building overnight?
Absolutely, yeah. We do the boarding in Beverly Farms, and we have a 24-hour staff.
And those people stay awake all night?
The night people, when I hire them, they're working the late shift. In fact, they double. They'll have their hands full at the new location because there'll be a lot more dogs to take care of. But in Beverly Farms, when they're not taking care of the dogs, which is most of the time, they're cleaning. So it's more of a janitorial position overnight. Whereas in the new location, there'll be a lot more taking care of the dogs because the numbers naturally will be higher. We have a very small number of dogs we take at Beverly Farms. We're a very small place over there. We've outgrown that place a while back, so we're looking to expand. Yeah.
Great. No other questions. Thanks.
Okay, I have a few questions just with respect to sort of just the operations. So the Beverly Farms location, you'll continue the Beverly Farms location, is that
We
right?
will, yeah.
And so in this new location, so again, you're looking at, it'll be both, doggy daycare as well as overnight boarding.
Correct, along with dog grooming,
Sure.
which is a big thing for us, and we even do cat grooming. Typically, we do cats on a separate day. Sunday's the day we do it in Beverly Farms. We generally don't like to mix them.
I can understand.
Yeah.
So in terms of the, in terms of sort of also the operations, when are what would the hours be, for example, of the urgent care? Is that anticipated a 24/7 operation or more of a daytime?
Well, it's a good question. We're in the very early stages. It's been hard to really push it past the early stages when we don't even have a commitment from the town yet, or we're not allowed to take on the property as of yet. So I'm interested in having it open later because I know with the demand. I know what happens with my customers, and even in our situation, if we have a dog who's sick and it's 10 o'clock at night, we're driving down to Woburn, and some people go even further than there. So I would like to have something that's accessible later, but that's really to be seen. It really depends who we partner up with and what they offer. But I would like it open. I would prefer it open 24 hours, but I'm not really sure on that answer yet.
Yeah. And that's not something that's in the current plans right now?
It's not. We're saving a theater for that, and that's the plan. It may or may not come to fruition. But from what I gathered early on, it seemed like it was by right also. So.
Let me just, Josh, just a question for staff. Is that something, I don't want to get ahead of things, but is that something that would be by right in terms of an urgent care?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, got it. Okay. So, and in terms of just in terms of, I know you mentioned the outdoor play area. What would be the hours of that? Is that something that's going to be, would that be something, would lights be on, late at night, or is it?
Well, it's interesting because when winter comes around, we have the lights on outside at our current place at 4:30, and people haven't even gotten off of work yet, so the lights are imperative. Having said that, would the lights be on all night? No, but some reasonable cutoff time. I wouldn't want to commit to an exact time, but maybe 9 o'clock would be the cutoff time.
Okay. Would you be willing to have that as a condition in terms of the a cutoff time of a 9 p.m. cutoff time for lights?
I would. The only thing I would say is, the previous use, which was a movie theater, they had their lights on out there till 11 o'clock or maybe even 12 o'clock. So where we're situated in the area, I don't know that it's really a big problem for neighbors or such. So I wouldn't want to hamstring myself and cut it off too early. If we have dogs out there at 9:05 or 9:10, I don't want to,
Understood.
so I would 100% commit to 10 o'clock. 9 o'clock is probably reasonable, but if I could have some wiggle room there, I'd rather not lock myself into a time that we could split the difference and say 9:30.
Okay.
On that point, 10 o'clock seems to me to be a reasonable time as well. BJ's may be open still then, or just closing, I believe.
That's a good point.
And so, and there's still a lot of traffic around, so 10 o'clock would seem to be fair.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let me see what other questions, any other questions I have here. In terms of any sort of, I know you mentioned as well that you have some you have some fleet vehicles as well. So would that be anticipated to be staying for a lengthy period of time, or how many vehicles, I guess, would there be?
How many company vehicles would stay on the premises? My plan is to start out with just a couple, 2 or 3. To be honest with you, driving around the neighborhoods of Beverly Farms and Manchester is a little easier. Driving in Danvers, where there's actually stoplights and such, I'm not too excited about buying hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of vehicles and then hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuel and all these things. So I expect it to be on the smaller scale, maybe maxing out around 5 vans, something like that.
Okay. 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 I think that's all I have now for now. Just before we go and turn it over, because this is a public hearing for members of the public. Before I do so, though, I did want to just ask sort of my fellow board members, just with respect to your thoughts in terms of a cutoff time for like the outdoor play area lights, like the 10 o'clock cutoff time.
It seems unnecessary to me. I'm just
Okay.
pulling up
Sure.
a map of the surrounding area. I'm not certain, but I believe most of that general area is already lit most hours.
Mhm.
And I don't think there are any neighbors who would be affected by light spillage.
Mhm.
So I would be inclined not to impose an unnecessary restriction.
Okay. Got it. Jean, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. And I just looked, BJ's is open till 10, so.
Excuse me, could you talk into the mic?
Yeah, sorry. I agree. I don't think we have to put a restriction. Given the area, there's not really anyone around there, and BJ's is open until 10 o'clock, so.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
you'd be even a 10 p.m. cutoff for lights, you would be not in favor of imposing a condition.
Correct.
Tim?
I agree with the not imposing a time limit.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a little bit, I'm torn a bit, but I mean, understanding sort of the nature of the nature of the site, I would tend to, I mean, I ask questions with respect to that, and I appreciate what the applicant is, in terms of wanting, we want the applicant to be a good neighbor. But at this point, I think I will, I think I can be comfortable with not imposing a specific condition of that. But let me turn things over to this is a public hearing, and so let me ask if anyone, members of the public would like to speak. I think I see Mr. Bradstreet. Could you
Yes, I can.
go to the podium and introduce yourself and pose your question?
Bill Bradstreet, Town Meeting Member, Precinct 1. Couple of comments. I already made one about speaking into the mic. When you have somebody using a drawing, can they use a pointer? The laser tends to bounce, and with my eyesight, it's hard to follow.
Okay.
Couple of questions. Is this the lot that was supposed to have been turned into a car dealership and wasn't? Can you answer that
I
question?
think that might be a question probably better for, maybe for staff.
I believe that this this was I believe that a use variance was given by the zoning board of appeals for outdoor automobile sales at this location. I believe it was somewhere in 2021, somewhere in that time frame, or early 2022.
They were gonna do automobile repair work inside the building? too?
Outdoor automobile sales.
Okay, I thought at the time that you're testing your memory that it was something to do with inside, testing material. Who deals, this site, I believe, in the past has been mentioned that there's contaminated soil in the area. Is the proponent going to deal with that, or is the owner of the property going to deal with that?
Okay. What?
Also, you commented about outside lights and the time element. Outside speakers of any kind? I don't think they play music to keep the pets, the animals content, but I don't know. I don't have a pet.
Well, why don't we go and, you have a series of questions. Why don't we see if the applicant can address that? I guess one of the questions was respect to soil conditions, the sort of the anything being done on the site.
My name is Sam Valenti. I'm the owner of the property.
Hello.
Can you go to the,
I can answer that question.
that would be great, thank you.
Hi, I'm Sam Valenti. I'm the owner of the property, and there is no contamination on my property. And the applicant is not going to dig up any of the bituminous covering that's there. And once upon a time, it was a farm.
Okay.
And so the contaminated soil is from the Crease and Cook property, which is below grade.
Right.
So it flows down away from my property.
Okay,
Can I answer your question?
thank you.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
As far as speakers, we don't have any speakers at our current location. I would imagine we may install something just for communication with staff. We might have some need for some music outside, but on a very low level because might incorporate it with the cafe, but I don't see it being an issue. It's not the type of venue where you have loud music playing. It's just not something that would be conducive to dealing with the dogs or communicating with staff or communicating with customers. It's just not something that I foresee. We have no need for it.
Okay, good. Okay, very good. And I guess a question just that came up that Mr. Bradstreet had mentioned about the variance, Josh, in terms of sort of the fact that a variance had been granted before for the auto, what happens to that now? Is it just go away because it's?
I mean, it runs with the land for forever, but if they don't exercise that, right, or that, go to the building department to do, pull a building permit and work on the building or build a brand new building, then, that's just not going to, that's not what's going to happen there.
Okay.
And we have no desire to sell cars or repair cars there, so we're going to stick with the dogs.
Got it. Thank you. Mr. Bradstreet, do you have any other further questions?
I've heard quite enough, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Any other members of the public? I don't see any here, so I'll have things come back to the board. Are there any other questions or concerns from the members? Gene?
No.
Sorry?
No.
No.
Okay. And I do not as well. So I'd like to entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll move that we close the public hearing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. There's a motion to close the public hearing, first by Tori, second by Jean. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? None. Okay. Now we'll go back to the actual matter before us, which is the grant of special permit and site plan review for 51 Needham Road, AKA 7 Hutchison Drive. Do we have, can I ask the acting clerk for a motion?
Yeah. Should I read the? Yeah. This is to certify that at a meeting of the Danvers Planning Board held on March 28th, that is not right,
all right, we
on
I could
April
change that,
11th, 2023, having been requested under Table 1, Section 30 of the zoning bylaw for property located at 51 Needham Road, AKA 7 Hutchinson Drive, Assessor's Map 64, Lot 9A, voted to approve the request submitted by the Doggy Depot, Inc. for a special permit to allow pet daycare. The special permit is associated with a new business operating at an existing building as shown on the following plans. Site plan entitled The Doggy Depot, 7 Hutchinson Drive, Danvers, Mass., prepared by Kenneth A. Woods, dated February 15th, 2023, revised to March 23rd, 2023, consisting of 3 sheets. Conditions of approval for special permit. This special permit decision shall be recorded at the Southern Essex District Registry of Deeds. The Planning Board finds that pursuant to Section 30.4 of the zoning bylaw, conditions for special permits, all of the following conditions have been satisfied. The municipal water and sewer systems will not become overloaded by the proposed use. The public streets will not become overloaded by the proposed use. The value of other land and buildings will not be depreciated by the proposed use. The specific site is an appropriate location for the use or structures. The use developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. There will not be an undue nuisance or serious hazard to vehicles or pedestrians, and adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided to ensure the proper operation of the proposed use, structure, and condition. The proposed use or structures will be in harmony with the general purpose of the bylaw. The Planning Board finds the site plan submitted by the Doggy Depot, Inc. for property at 51 Needham Road, AKA 7 Hutchinson Drive, Assessor's Map 64, Lot 9A, to be in substantial compliance with the criteria and regulations adopted by the town. Details of the plan review can be found on the following plan. The Doggy Depot, 7 Hutchinson Drive, Danvers, Mass., prepared by Kenneth A. Woods, dated February 15th, 2023, revised to March 23rd, 2023, consisting of 3 sheets. The following submission requirements have been waived. Title sheet, no title sheet submitted. Site analysis plan, no site analysis plan submitted. Dimensional regulations plan, no dimensional regulations plan submitted. Site construction plan, no site construction plan submitted. The location of the existing building and proposed location of drives and parking areas is shown on the proposed site plan. Utilities plan, no utilities plan submitted. No new utilities are proposed. The existing parking lot drainage system will not be altered. Landscape plan, no landscape plan submitted. All planting beds will be re-landscaped with new shrubbery and ground cover. The existing mature trees will be pruned and kept in place. Off-street parking and loading plan, no off-street parking and loading plan submitted. The location of parking spaces, aisles, and loading areas is shown on the proposed site plan. Lighting plan, no lighting plan submitted. The location of the proposed outdoor play area lights is shown on the proposed first floor plan. The luminaire specification data and type of lamp, LED, is provided on the submitted manufacturer's specification sheets. Conditions of approval for site plan review. The applicant must adhere to the comments from the Danvers Engineering Division memorandum dated February 28, 2023. This includes obtaining a stormwater permit from the Danvers Engineering Division prior to construction. If there are any changes to the approved plans, the use or the conditions on premises, planning staff will review. If deemed a major change by staff, the applicant will have to apply for a modification to the special permit and/or a new application for site plan review. This project is subject to the attached list of general conditions. Any approval of this special permit or site plan review approval shall lapse within 3 years from the grant thereof if construction has not begun by such date, except for good cause.
Very good. There's a motion, and just a quick clarification. Josh, the the motion should have, I assume should be signatory by myself as
That's
acting
right.
chair.
That's right.
Okay.
I meant just, as Tori was reading, yes.
Okay, so I have so Tori's made the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, okay. It's been first and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Very good.
Technically, because there's two applications, the special permit and the site plan, could we have another, vote on the site plan
Yes.
independently of itself?
Okay. Okay, very good. So I'd like to entertain a motion for approval of the site plan review for 51 Needham Road, AKA 7 Hutchison Drive, as just read by Tori.
I move that we approve the site plan for 51 Needham Road, AKA 7 Hutchinson Drive.
Okay, can I have a second on that?
Second.
Second. Very good. A motion's been made and seconded for the site plan review for the property. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye?
Aye.
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 Opposed? None? Okay, been approved. We good? Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Congratulations. Good
Appreciate
luck.
it. Thank you.
Yeah. So,
Is this yours?
okay, let's go to the next. I think the next agenda item here, we have some meeting minutes. I'm not sure if everybody's had the opportunity to review. Just a question for Josh. The first set of minutes
Right.
I noticed is from January 11th of 2022,
Right.
and I think the only participants, actually we do have. Okay, so in those cases we have. So out of the group here today, I participated, Tori and Jean Hartnett.
Although I don't know if that evening if Jean voted on that, so,
I was an associate.
right. So I think for the January minutes, it would just be you and Tori, and then the other two would be everyone in the group.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So I guess under the, I guess the question is we only have two people voting, so I typically would entertain a motion and you need a first and a second.
Sure.
Can we do this?
Technically,
Can we do this one today?
if you'd like, there's no state guidelines that they have to be voted. It's just something that I think as a town policy, we generally just do as like a policy.
Mhm.
If you would prefer us to hold on those until, I guess, Jim is back, and Jim is here, that's fine. It'd be the will, if you and Tori, or if you want to do that, that's fine. But,
Mhm.
I'm just not sure. I guess I'd defer
Okay.
to you, I guess,
Tori,
what you'd like to
what say
do.
you?
I guess if there's any reason to wait, there's no harm in it. I mean,
That's fine.
yeah.
Right,
Okay.
as long as there's no harm in terms
That's
of
fine.
waiting,
Yeah, that's fine.
waiting on that one, then we can
Yeah.
have,
There are several older ones, right, where it will just, at some point, some even the older ones, we've got caught up and it's great. If someone's not present, there probably will be there will be instances probably where there will only be like one or two people being able to even vote on them, right, because of the kind of just different members on the board. But that's fine. We'll put those on the next meeting. That's not a big deal at all.
okay, all right, very good, as long as it doesn't cause any sort of,
No.
any issue for.
No
for-
issue.
For pushing it for next time.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so the next set of minutes I have here is from the minutes dated February 14th of 2023, and that's one in which all of us present here did participate, so I'd like to entertain a motion for approval of these minutes from February 14th.
I move that we approve the minutes for February the 14th.
Okay, thanks, Tori. First by Tori, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Jean. Very good. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye?
Aye. Okay. Opposed, none. Very good. That's been approved. Our next set of minutes here are from February 28th, 2023. And we did have all of those participating today were at the meeting. So I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes for February 28th.
I move that we approve the minutes for February 28th.
Okay, thanks, Tori. First by Tori. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Jean. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Very good. Okay. Very good. Okay, anything else that we need to cover with staff? I know that there's some future meetings.
Yes, just wanted to briefly discuss with the group. Internally, with staff, we had discussed on the May 23rd meeting, bringing up starting the zoning amendment sort of conversation. The idea right now is that we would have a fall town meeting, likely in November of 2023, and there will likely be several zoning amendments, which include, and we can get into it more, satisfying the Massachusetts 3A/MBTA communities regulations, state requirements that have recently been adopted, passed. That will be certainly one of the things that we're proposing to as one of the zoning amendments. So I guess as everyone's here, if everyone was available on that May 23rd meeting, if they were available on that night, we just wanted to make sure that everyone was going to be available that night.
And that would otherwise be an off night in terms of, like, that would be the alternate Tuesday?
No, that would be a regularly scheduled. I think that's a regular scheduled meeting.
Okay.
Just wanted to.
Can you repeat that date?
May 23rd. Should be a Tuesday.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything.
I am, I'm going to be in California for work. I'm just thinking about the time difference, so.
Sure. It's about
Yeah, I'm
3 hours.
likely not to be available.
Okay.
Because it'll be
Would it-
middle of the workday.
Would it be beneficial probably then to maybe push it back to like the next meeting, like the first meeting in June maybe?
I would hope to be at that conversation.
Would that be better probably for the, okay. No, that's fine. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, the only thing that I have going is I have work travel on since we're just going over schedule, I have work travel on June the 13th.
And that would be that next, probably plenty, yeah, I'd have to.
So it would not be, that's 3 weeks after the 23rd
Okay,
of May. So if we're 2 weeks, is that 3 weeks? Yeah, I mean, so if we're 2 weeks after, which would take us to June 6th.
right, the meeting's probably on the 13th, but I could circle back. I'll send an email out to the group and, we could nail down a date. I think that we would all be, appropriate for everyone.
Okay.
But just wanted to bring that up, to the group that there might be other applications on that evening, but we definitely wanted to at least
Okay.
start the conversation. Just where
Would it be anticipated that this is a large, would this be a large zoning change in order to, comply with the MBTA?
From my professional opinion, no. I mean, it's essentially all the downtown rezoning that occurred in
Sure.
February of 2020. Essentially, that's what the state is requiring municipalities to do, something of that nature, to pick a geographic location in town with concentrated development that will allow additional density or additional residential. From where we sit currently, we would just have to do some kind of minor, this is sort of subjective, but minor-ish tweaks to essentially the framework that we've set up.
I see.
So essentially in our density table, we would just be having to change some of the density numbers and not significantly change the numbers
Okay.
to comply, and maybe some other smaller tweaks with some of the parking stuff. But we can talk about it. We can get into it a little bit.
Okay.
And then the other kind of piece.
And this is a mandate, this is a state mandate?
It wasn't going, mandate might be too strong of a word. There's definitely carrots associated with
Okay.
it.
Would it include transit as well? Because I know that's been even in terms of I know that Danvers, living relatively close to Danvers Square, I know that the square lost its MBTA bus service a year or so ago.
I'm not sure how it's associated with that per se.
Mhm.
It would allow us to still apply for like state grants, such as like MassWorks and some economic development infrastructure grants that if we don't comply, we won't be able to receive we won't be allowed to apply for those types of grants.
Okay.
And also, the state or the Attorney General's office did just send out a letter that was fairly serious in nature that things could be negative. There potentially could be other negative things if communities don't comply.
Attorney General's letter that was of general applicability that went to all communities?
Yes, and I think only because out of the 101 MBTA communities, there's only a small handful that seems to not want to try to move forward in a positive direction. So, but we're not in that place. We're honestly, from a comparative perspective, it's essentially we're in a great place because of that framework and foundation and all that work into doing all of that was essentially what it wants us to do. We just did it we did it a couple years too early, not too early, but so it should be fairly straightforward. But and then also
We'll stay tuned.
there's probably other we're trying to keep it the term housekeeping items just in the zoning bylaw.
Mhm.
Just some of the stuff that even every meeting, every other meeting when don't want to get it too much into it, but that whole this is just an example. It's not this particular item, but that self-storage definition, even tonight, kennels, the kennels allowed by right, and the pet daycare is special permit. Just
I was going to suggest that
No,
we
it's just-
re-examine that
there's-
distinction.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult to. We could spend a lot of time on the book and doing lots of those types of things. We're trying to where staff sits on a daily basis. There's just stuff like that if we could fix several of them in the fall, that would be great. Just of that nature.
Right, so opportunities, so things that either that staff has noticed or
Right.
that we've noticed, as Tori just mentioned.
Right. I don't know if we want to do too much. This is just, and I would defer to Brian, the plan director, but I don't know if there's too much kind of macro level policy that we'd like to change per se, but just kind of more clarification, clarity. I don't know if that's the same word. Just those types of, and I think we experience it at meetings and applications often, even tonight with, and why is the kennel by right, which seems more impactful overnight, and then the daycare is special permit.
Yeah.
So there's just on a daily basis, there's a decent amount of that we
Mhm. encounter,
and we'd like to do as much of that in the fall as possible, but not also have a significant amount. But we'll see how, if there's an appetite to do lots, that's fine. But I don't think we want to do too much policy, macro level policy. But but if the board's interested in doing that, we're obviously open to any suggestions.
Okay, so this meeting, this upcoming meeting, so I guess it would be good if we had, some agenda
Sure.
space for both the sort of the MBTA piece as well as any other
Sure.
sort of either housekeeping or even if there is anything sort of macro level things that we want to, that the board would like to
Sure.
address and talk about as well.
And and obviously, if there's anything that comes up between now and then, obviously feel free to reach out.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, anything else at all, so in terms of upcoming meetings, so that's sort of TBA in terms of our,
Yep, so
Okay.
I'll try and figure out the logistics of the best
Sure.
night. Because obviously, it's benefit. The The more members available and present,
Sure.
the better, obviously.
Okay.
Mhm.
Very good. Anything else from fellow board members?
Nope.
Okay. I guess hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, none? Very good.